I've had an idea for something that I've wanted to do for a while. Um, I've wanted to make an image of Thor because my dad is a big fan of Thor, like the Marvel character. And usually every year, uh, I get him a piece done by me of Thor, just like different variations, so we can see like my progress and stuff. It's pretty fun. So I figured why not just start there and see how it goes. So let's get going on maybe some thumbnails. That's what I'm thinking. We've got that. Gotta mess with my pen settings, make sure I'm doing this good. Oh, that does not look good. Looks okay. I don't know if I'm in love with the texture on that. I have such a bad habit of picking a brush and not being satisfied with it, and then I'll go in and change the settings like crazy. And that in and of itself is just a lot of fun. So I'm just constantly messing with the settings on my brushes, and then I never actually get anything done. So I'm going to try not to worry too much about that, but I think I'm going to lower the opacity on this. Yeah, it looks pretty okay. I like the texture on that a little better. I'm trying to think what will be interesting and different from what I've done before, because a lot of the times it's very inspired by the Marvel character. Oh, okay. I just realized I'm not painting on a new layer. That's okay. It looked like garbage anyway, so there we go. Yeah, I'm listening to Coraline right now. Great movie if you haven't seen it. Yeah, I've been wanting to make content like this for a while that's like really chill. Because I see a lot of videos on YouTube that are mostly tutorials or challenges, things like that. But I don't see a whole ton of just like real-time process videos, because you get a lot of stuff that's like time-lapse, and that can be pretty nice sometimes. But I always wish that I could just watch another artist just making stuff in real time, and just like being there for it and absorbing it. I wish there was just more of that. So who knows, maybe I'll keep doing stuff like this, more content like this, because I do find it very meditative for me, and it gives me an excuse to actually like sit down and draw, because I have a bad habit of, if I don't have an incentive, it's so much harder for me to actually sit down and create stuff. Like when I was in school, doing art school, it was just so much easier for me to actually just make things, because it was like, here's the deadline, this is what you're making, you need it, you know, this big, and this is what you should be doing, you know, leading up to the actual finished product and things like that. Just made it a lot easier for me to actually create things. But now that I'm freelancing and, you know, finding contract work on my own, there are going to be lulls. Like, that's just inevitable, where times are just, you're not going to be able to find work as a freelancer. And that's kind of just a harsh reality of the type of work that you do as an artist. But those lulls, it gets really hard for me to actually be motivated to create stuff, because I don't feel like I'm making it for anyone. And I know a lot of artists who have like the exact opposite problem of me, where it's like, I don't want to make art for someone else. I want to make it for me. And that gives them a lot of fire and a lot of motivation. But I just cannot do that. I need a reason to get myself in the chair, and actually making things that I like. It's very hard for me to be motivated like that. But I think this might be a good way for me to do that, just to, feel like, okay, I need to make a few videos this week. And if I don't, then, there's an audience that's going to be let down. They won't be able to consume the content that they want, And so maybe that's something that will be able to help motivate me to just sit down and draw and just, not necessarily as something for work, but something just to enjoy, because that's kind of how you get started, is just, I just found so much enjoyment from just sitting down by myself in my room and just making art. And I think I need more of that, especially now that I'm working professionally. It makes it hard to want to do anything when you're not being paid. And I know a lot of artists will disagree with me on that, but I don't know. It's important to me. But yeah, I think this will be a good way to actually get me to make new stuff. I said I would start out with a portrait, and now I've got like 3/4 body. So, gosh dang it, David. Whatever. It's whatever looks best, right? If it doesn't look good, then gotta keep going until you find something that you like. That's important in art. So that's a pretty okay sketch. I like it okay. Let's see if we can get some lightning bolts in there. All right. Yeah, I like that. That looks pretty good. Still very static, so let's shake things up with the next one. Maybe something like Fat Thor. Like, I know in Ragnarok, God of War Ragnarok, he's like this massive beast of a dude. So maybe we'll try that. Something less fit, I guess. Less idealistic male physique. We'll go for something. We'll give him a dad bod. That's what we'll do. It's a good option. Oh yeah, give him kind of that circus lifter body. Make him really intimidating. Yeah. Now I'm getting like He-Man vibes from this, which is not necessarily a bad thing. My dad loves He-Man, but I'll just make him Norse He-Man, I guess. That's the nice thing about something as vague as Norse mythos, is that it's vague enough that there's so much room for interpretation. Like, you can do something that's more historical, or you could make things that feel a lot more like fantastical. I think that is a big reason why so many people latch on to like Greek myths and Norse stuff, because it's fun to play in someone else's sandbox, if you know what I mean. That there's enough ideas there, but enough gaps that you can fill it in yourself and, make something that you think is cool. But what do Viking belts look like? I don't know. I do like the more heavier set look. I think that's very kind of Viking-esque, I guess. Yeah, I think I like that, actually. I don't know if I'll do 4 sketches. I might just take that and ideate off of that. Let's do that. That'll save me some time too. Let's try and push things a little more to make him look more triumphant over the serpent. That might be good. Okay, let's do it. Okay, that's a good starting point. All right, so I'm thinking what we should do to shake things up is maybe turn his torso a little bit so that he's still standing over the beast, but he's got his hammer down on its jaw like he just smashed his gourd in. And we'll have the shield out like this. Yeah, that should look okay. I want him to look tired, but I want him to look like he just won the fight. You know, and give him some interesting kind of savagery looking, like bear claws and whatnot over him. Okay, I think this is a good spot. We're gonna probably take this to a refined sketch and then I'll get going on color. I mean, it looks good. There's nothing about it that I think looks bad necessarily, but it's just throwing me off. Yeah, I don't know. I'll come back to it in a bit. You know, I just need to take a break and I'll come back and see how I feel about it.
Okay, I had to take a break because I was not feeling super well. So I had to step away for a couple of days. But I think I got the sketch to a place that I feel comfortable with. Yeah, it took a lot of playing around with. There was a lot of things that I just really didn't like. So I had to do a lot of ideating and things like that just to figure out what I wanted this to be, because I was having a really hard time down here with the snake's head. I just could not get it to look right, and it's really hard when I told myself that I wouldn't work from reference because that's important. Working from imagination is really hard. So, but it's in a good place right now. I think it's readable and it's good, and the focus is still on the character itself. It's good. So I think this is ready to take to a rough painting, and we'll go from there. Let's do it. I have some mad brain fog right now. Stupid sticky keys. I need to disable that. But yeah, I've as soon as I finished my initial recording, I just felt so ill. It was just so awful. So I had to take a break for a little while. You can probably tell in my voice, it's just so nasty. I've got really bad congestion and that sort of thing. But my least favorite thing about being sick is that brain fog. Like, my wife and I just played a game last night with some of our friends. We like to do sort of like trivia type stuff, and I just could not for the life of me think of anything because my brain was just so clouded. It was just awful. So hopefully I get feeling better here soon, but it's nice to be back in the seat and drawing again. I'm thinking we're gonna do light against dark here. Let's see how that looks. That looks fine. I don't really like the fleshy tone. We might desaturate that a little more. Yeah, that's better. I want it to feel very tundra, like we're in the heat of Ragnarok, because I'm pretty sure this is when this takes place, right? When he fights the world serpent. It's like at the end of the world or whatever. Anyway, I got my base colors laid in. I'm gonna go in and clean this up a little bit. Gosh, I just recently discovered clipping masks, which is insane because I've been doing this for years, but it's such a time saver. I can't even begin to tell you. Like, I love just going in and treating it like a normal painting, just like trying to stay within the edges, but when I'm trying to do something fast like this, it's just so much better. Okay, just gotta flip the canvas really quick, see how it looks. That's pretty good. Okay. I think now that I've got local colors pretty much figured out, I think I'm gonna go in and add a color layer, or a saturation layer, I guess, and play with the lighting, just with the values, and see if I can make something that'll work pretty well. Okay, I think that's good for Thor right now. Let's do Jormungandr. Jormungandr? I don't know. The snake. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking of doing. I said earlier that I wasn't going to do gradient maps, that I was going to save that for another video, but I think we've got enough detail here that I might be able to get away with that. So I'm going to play around with some different colors and see what I like, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I flipped the canvas and it looks pretty good so far, so I think now I'll probably flatten the image and take it to a finish, see how it looks. I realized that I had my night light on because I was working late, and yeah, so everything looked warm and I was trying to make it fit to that, and I was laying in the whites and I was like, wait a minute, this is way warmer than I feel like it should be, so I may have to do another correction layer, so that's that's on me.
So while I'm doing this last bit of rendering, I wanted to talk about some things that are going on. So what I'd like to do with the channel is show some real-time process work of art, because you don't really see a whole lot of that these days. It's always like improvement or a lot of gimmicks with, you know, making art with this obscure thing, or tutorials, time-lapse, that sort of thing. But you never really see a whole lot of like chill, meditative type art that's being made in real time. And that's kind of what I want to do. I want to make something that, you know, you can see the process, and not just the actual process of creating the artwork, but the thought process behind making something at a professional level, which is something that I think a lot of people could benefit from. Like, you know, whether you just need to turn it on to fall asleep, or just, you know, improve your skills and having someone that you can listen to while you make art yourself. I think that that's something that could be really beneficial, because we live in a world today where everything is just so busy and everything is so fast paced, and it's always like do this and then on to the next thing and then the next thing, and you're always trying to think ahead, and that can cause, you know, a lot of anxiety, which is something that I've experienced a lot. But in the process of making artwork, I've found that that's a really, really good way to just kind of live in the moment. And, you know, I want that for more people. If they, you know, had the opportunity to just, even if it's just living vicariously through me in the moment, just to take the time to not think about anything else but what's happening right in front of you. That's something that I think society is lacking, is just that ability to just live presently, which is honestly not a bad skill to have these days, because there is so much of a competitive edge in the world today. It makes it really hard to just focus on you, you know, and make things that you want to make and do things that you want to do in the moment, just because you want to do it and for no other reason. And, you know, that's something that's really important to me. And I just want to share that with you guys. I think that it's important to just take that time for yourself and just live in the moment. And art is a great way to do that. So that's how I want to share things with you. I debated a long time on how I wanted to structure all this on the channel. And I'm pretty comfortable with just time lapse. But I also, you know, want to offer something new, something that could be helpful for people. Not just something that you just put on to listen to, but something that you can actually, you know, glean things from, whether it is artistically or just in life in general. So anyway, this is, I think, a good stopping point for now, for this piece. I'm gonna get this printed and send it off to my dad, and hopefully he likes it. But anyways, if you want to see more stuff like this, just let me know, and, you know, you can subscribe, join the channel, and leave comments for any suggestions that you have of things that you want to see in the future. And yeah, go make art or something.